Well, hello friends. What's going on? It's your boy back again here. Sorry it's been a long time since the last video. I'm not gonna lie, I've been working like 50 to 60 hour weeks in the shop since probably like November, so hadn't had much time to make videos or answer emails, but I got a bunch in the works and I'm trying my best to get more on the way. So anyways, on to the topic of the day, which is all about tapers. Number one I wanted to say about tapers is that tapers are totally fine to use. As long as you're waiting a full month between each stretch you do, and as long as you use lubricant, and you really want to take your time and give it a full month between each stretch. So I'm going to talk about the three types of main tapers and tell you the pros and cons of each one of them. So here are the general three types that you will see. There's generally three types that retailers will sell of tapers. So I'm going to go from the least to the best. Okay, so we'll start out with the old acrylic taper. Acrylic tapers, the pros about these, the good things is that they are inexpensive. The bad things is, number one, is that acrylic tapers cannot be sterilized. They're made of acrylic, so acrylic can never be sterilized, even if they're autoclaved. So acrylic can't be sterilized. Number two is that acrylic is a lot harder to get through than steel. Even though it's super smooth, it's not as smooth as steel. And even if you're using lubricant and everything on this, it's going to be a lot harder to get through. So acrylic, like I said, it's definitely an inexpensive option. If you don't have much money and you're just looking to get the cheapest thing, this is okay, but it's not the best. The next option is just the regular basic steel tapers. You'll see these often with O-rings on them, and I want to mention about the O-rings. A lot of wholesalers, they sell to us these with the O-rings on them, even though you're not supposed to wear these as plugs to wear in your ears. The reason you don't want to wear these is because number one, it hangs down and it's big and bulky, and it puts your ear at an odd angle because of the odd weight distribution. So you don't want to wear these because it generally will irritate your ears, and I see people doing it constantly, but you want to make sure that you stretch and then follow through with the plugs. So with that being said, okay, I guess the pros about this, the good things, is number one, it can be autoclaved. These can be totally clean and sterilized for a totally safe stretch. And it's all, like I said with the acrylic taper, it's a lot smoother than the acrylic. So with a little lubricant on this is going to slide through like butter. This is a lot slicker and a lot safer to use. The bad thing is that the end of this is actually totally flat. So, and a lot of you are probably, what's wrong with it being flat? The flat problem comes in when you're doing the jewelry transfer. Like I said, you'll want to insert and follow through with the jewelry right when you do your stretch. So the problem with this is that you'll have to have a really steady hand. If your hand isn't really steady and straight, then sometimes the plug might get kind of crooked when you're pushing it through, and that means you might have to start all the way over again and stretch it through again. So with this, they work fine, but they're a lot harder to get through for the insertion of your plugs or whatnot. So, and another bad thing about them is, okay, here's compared to the concave taper. The stretchable area, the part that you're actually stretching your ears, is from here to here, whereas the concave taper, the whole entire taper is the length of the stretch you're doing. So this one, it's going to be a lot more blunt of a stretch. You're going to have to put a little more force than you would on the concave taper, because this is a lot shorter of an area to stretch with. So, like I said, this is okay to use, but there is the better option, which is the concave taper, which I'm going to talk about. And concave taper, this is the number one best, the highest quality. It doesn't get much better than this, and it's only just a couple more bucks generally than acrylic or steel, or I mean the basic steel. So what makes this the best is, like I said, number one, the whole length of this is the whole stretchable area, whereas the others are not. Like I said before with the other steel, this can be totally autoclaved, totally sterilized, and it's totally safe to use. And what makes this the best of all is that when you're doing your insertion, here's a plug of the same size. This is a 0 gauge. You can actually, it's got a hole in the back. This is why they're called concave. The back of it is actually concaved in. So you can actually insert the plug right into the back of the taper. So when you're doing your jewelry transfer, it just goes right through. It's totally easy, and even if you got wobbly hands, you're still going to get it through totally fine as long as your finger's holding it in place. So concave taper, it doesn't get much better than this. This is the one I've used on mine and the one that I recommend to everyone, and it's not that much more expensive. So, well, except on the bigger ones. You'll see ones up to an inch that are a lot more expensive just because it's a huge giant piece of steel, which is obviously going to be expensive, but generally these are not that much more expensive than the regular tapers. So, well, anyways, that's my description of all three of them, the pros and cons. You know, like I said, tapers are totally fine to use. Just give it a good month between each stretch, use lubricant, and you will be totally fine. Well, anyways, thanks for watching. Hope all is good, and yeah, check out my other videos and check out our website for the best plugs on earth. Take care.